confidence in your child? I know this is a very important question, and it's a burning question in most of the minds of the parents, because they want the best for the child, but somehow they are bringing down the confidence of the child, and they're not able to boost the child enough in order for them to become independent, do things on their own. Constantly, children need to be pushed, and this is causing worry amongst parents. So, let's look at how we as parents can boost the confidence of our child. Today, the modern child has a lot of exposure because of technology, because of media, and the child is able to understand just about anything that's happening across the world. So, how we deal with the child is very important, and for this, fundamentally, we need to understand one important point. No matter how much we blame our child, we point out, we comment, or we try to do things which are good for the child, we need to understand the child has inherited the genes from us. So every parent needs to understand that my child is my genes. It's a combination of genes between a husband and a wife. So there will be certain qualities of the father and certain qualities of the mother. Parent, when they have expectations of their children, need to keep in mind one important point, and that is that the child they have is but a combination of the genes from the mother and the father. So the child cannot have something different but a combination of the genes of the mother and the father. So he cannot do what he cannot do, and he can only do what he can do. So parents need to understand you are the person who has given them those genes. So we know the limitations, we know the boundaries, and we need to know how to limit our expectations based on the genes that we have given them. We also need to understand that every child has to first have a sense of security. If the child does not feel secure with the parents, then his perception of the whole world will change. So the parents' duty is to make them feel included, a sense of belongingness, a sense of attachment. But most of the parents, in their craze for achievement, craze for perfection, craze for, trying to be the best, or their child the best, what happens is that we put expectations on the child and we put pressure on the child, and somehow the child feels he does not belong. He feels alienated, he feels left out. So every parent needs to also remember how to make your child feel included all the time. You can give them a task which is difficult, they can fail, they can achieve, but he is still your child. You still have to make him feel belong. But if most parents feel that, the minute they cannot do something, they alienate him and say, I don't love you. Till you do that work, I don't respect you. I don't care for you. Now the child always cannot take this kind of a feeling that he is excluded. Okay, so belongingness is something that is in the hands of the parent, not of the child. If you give him security, he will give back love. Most parents feel that if you love your child, if you are a good parent, then the child has to depend on you. But what happens is, in this process of dependency, I will do everything for you kind of a parent, somewhere we are training our children to be dependent on us, and thereby decreasing their own sense of independence. So yes, initially we need to help them out if they need help. But most of the time, you need to allow the child to discover himself, to try to, take the initiative to do tasks on his own, and that is when he starts developing his sense of identity. Today, most parents give them independence in decision making, like what do you want to eat, what do you want to wear, what do you want to buy in the shop. That's not independence. Independence is when a child is allowed to do a task on his own at his own speed. This parents don't understand. They only think that, by listening to the demands of the child, that they are giving them independence, and that is not so. Another very important factor is the boundary or the space in which you create for the child. Always there must be a boundary between people. If you don't draw the line, then you find that parents tend to intrude into the space of the child and thereby pushing the child when he's not ready. And this creates a sense of insecurity in the child. And hence, giving them a lot of space is very, very, very important, because when a person is able to work within his boundary alone without anybody else intruding into that space, that's when he's going to take the initiative to explore, to try out, to experiment, and that's when the thinking process happens. Another very important factor is self-esteem. Now, some people are born with confidence, some are not. But what about those who are born without confidence? What do they do? Now, how do they learn to master themselves? How do they learn to gain confidence? And this feeling that I can do it, I can, is very important. So parents need to nurture their child in such a way, give them that kind of security, give them that kind of space wherein they carry out a task, they achieve it and feel confident that they were able to achieve it. And every achievement increases confidence. It is only when the child is able to have achievement, when they have mastery, then they start setting goals, because goals have to be set by the individual, not by parents. So when parents put the goal, the child tends to have stress. Can I achieve it? Can I not? But when I set my own goals, I know that I can reach it, and hence I set my goals more realistically. So parents need to make the child set the goal, move forward, achieve, and have a better goal, keep improving on the goal and trying to take themselves step by step to a higher platform. Another very important aspect that parents don't remember is that how do you communicate? Because if you learn how to communicate well with your child, the child will also reciprocate. Most often, parents shout at children, reprimand, point out the mistakes, and invariably this is what the child learns. You hurt me, I hurt you. And so the communication is one of negativity. So if you are positive, smiling, listen, consider, give them a chance, respect your child, automatically your child will give you that respect and in turn will respect other people in life outside, and that will be their communication style, which they learn right from when they are a child. So communication is something that is learned in their childhood and something that has been developed over a period of time, which again I think is the responsibility of the parents. When the parents just follow these basic steps, then you find that the child is able to set a realistic concept for themselves, a self-image. I can do it, this is me. These are things I can't do, these are things I can do, but even those which I can't do, it's okay, I can learn how to master it, and this is how I need to learn in order to master anything. So that's a very positive frame of mind. But today you find most of these children have all this negativity inside, frustration, stress, and they don't know whom to share it with, how to voice it. Invariably, they're carrying a baggage of negativity, and this affects their lifelong personality. So how effective your child is depends on you. If you are a good parent, you will definitely have a good child. Being a psychologist, having worked on the brain design, I see different kinds of brains, different kinds of personalities, different kinds of thought process. And I do know the strengths and weaknesses of each and every kind of personality. But no matter what the personality, we need to take that person, that personality to the positive path and not to the negative path. So life has to be a challenge that can be overcome, but it has to be dealt with in a positive manner, in a manner which is empowering, and a manner in which there is more of a thought process that I can do it. It's not impossible. I can do it. It is possible. It takes time. That's okay. If that is the way your child is brought up, I don't think they'll have a problem, because every time they have a problem or a challenge, they know how to overcome it. And that is independence, and that is identity.